about 6'3", with dark brown hair and bloodshot eyes. I told Hunter that he needs to come with me because...
Alright guys, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's episode. We have this creepy animation story, and yep, it's part 6, man. It's part 6, man. The moment you guys all been waiting for. I got you, man. When I tell you I got you, trust me. I'm a man of my word. I got you. So 2 videos, well technically 3 videos in one day. I got you, man. I'm on that grind, man. So last time where we left off, some kids were trying to sneak into a school. Before that, I remember that some guy had got like sweet chin music out of nowhere. Shout out Wansi Entertainment again for providing the original video. I'm gonna put the link right down in the description below. So if you missed any other parts that I did, I'm also gonna put it down too, man. They're very funny, they're very creepy and very scary too. So don't forget to check it out. You guys only came for one thing, man. I got you, man. I got you. Don't worry, man. I'm about to deliver right here, bro. Alright, so this one's called A True Horror, My Haunted House Story. Alright, let's do it.
When I was 12 years old, my family and I moved to a new house. Even though it was a beautiful house, I was
That does
scared
look
of
like a
it,
good house.
especially my parents' room. I used to have awful dreams where I would enter that specific room only to see a dark shadow staring at me.
That's creepy.
It was a tall shadow. It seemed like a man, but I never saw his face since his whole being was just pitch black. I would close the door to my room
see
since
like
my parents'
dark,
room
tall
was in front
shadows
of
whenever I
mine,
had
and I
sleep
could
paralysis.
easily see their room from my bed.
Not in real life.
One night, I woke up from what seemed like a dreamless sleep, feeling that someone was staring at me. At first, I couldn't see anything. But after my eyes got used to the dark, I saw 2 things.
Yo, same, bro.
First,
I was born in the
my
dark.
door was open, which wasn't normal since I always closed it at night. And second, there was the shadow I often saw in my nightmares. This time, it wasn't in my parents' room. It was in front of my room, just staring at me. I was so scared. I couldn't break eye contact with it, and after what seemed like hours, finally the shadow stopped staring at me and walked to my brother's room. After that, I can't remember when I got back to sleep after that. I only remember waking up, and since then, everything seemed normal. I thought it was only a nightmare and brushed it off. A couple years later, my family and I moved to another state, but we kept the house as a place to visit during the holidays. One day, my uncle had a nasty fight with his wife, and he asked my parents if he could stay at our old house for some time. My parents said yes. So he temporarily
Start being
moved
nosy
there
in the
for a
back.
while. And one day, we visited him for the holidays, and while we were talking, he asked me if I had ever dreamt of creepy shadows in front of my room.
Damn.
My
He got the
parents
uncle
laughed,
too?
since they knew nothing of what I had seen. I stayed quiet. That night, I talked to my uncle and explained to him what I had seen and what I thought was a nightmare. I was really scared since I had told no one about that nightmare. He listened to me, and after a while, he explained he had seen the same thing just staring at my room. After that, my uncle talked to my parents, and we never visited that house again. My uncle moved back with his wife, and after a religious ceremony of cleansing,
he's like, yo, baby girl, I'm sorry for what I did, but just take me back.
However, to this day,
He's not
the house
taking his
remains
chances
unsold.
with those shadows, boy.
Even though the shadow never hurt any of us physically,
It's just creepy.
I still panic whenever I remember how that thing stared at me, how I felt that there was nothing I could do against it. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Man. Creepy. Never be alone when you enter the restroom.
One day, I got a call from a few friends of mine about going to the mall. It was a stressful week at work, so I thought some retail therapy would definitely help.
I like when the voice doesn't match the animation at all, man. It just makes it extra funny.
I gave the girls my order, and I told them I would come back and find them as I needed them after I used the restroom.
She ain't never come back.
The restrooms are at the end of the large and wide corridor. They were your typical mall type with lots of stalls. Anyway, so I sat down to use the bathroom, and I could see from the gap on the floor between the wall of the stall and the floor, lots of movement from someone's shadow. I wasn't sure if they were getting changed or not, so I didn't pay attention at first. But it felt like the shadow was coming from above
plastic
at some
bags,
points.
so
you know, as if the light above
they
was
probably
being obstructed
went and
by
hit
something.
a lick at Macy's or
After
something.
maybe the third time, I decided to look up, and I could see a phone and parts of a guy's arm leaning over. Someone was taking photos of me. I instantly shouted out, "What are you doing, you pervert?" And in a moment of sheer shock and disbelief, this all very quickly turned into fear as I got up and leaped out of the stall and was greeted by an empty bathroom. Not one person was in sight.
Yo, that hell
and
should
from
have
the
just
quick glance of the mirrors
kicked that door
opposite,
like that, bro.
there was only one stall shut, and it was the one next to me. I ran for the restroom exit, but it was locked. Luckily, it had a twist lock, and I could turn it as I did.
Oh.
I heard the stall open from behind me. I got out immediately and turned as I exited and noticed a sign on the door saying, "Closed for maintenance." This sign was not here when I went in. I screamed some more, shouting to get anyone's attention as I ran down the corridor towards the food.
He was trying to violate her.
And had obviously caught the attention of a few people. A group of 3 guys stopped me and clearly could see the panic in my eyes. They asked me questions and I explained. 2 guys ran toward the ladies' restroom and one to find security. Security arrived within seconds. After a while,
did they find him?
A rather large crowd had gathered due to the commotion. And although I was in the comfort of my friends, security, and now the police, I never felt so alone. Security and police, nor 2 guys found anyone. There was a few staff only, and fire exit doors opened down the corridor, so plenty of escape routes for whoever this guy was.
Dipped.
I gave my statements down at the station later that day once my parents showed up. The police said they had security tapes from the cameras that point down the corridor and will keep us updated with any news. Hopefully, they find this guy.
Sick fuck. True Home Alone story.
My name is Jessica, and I was 8 at the time this occurred. I was the youngest and the only girl, so my older brother Hunter was taking care of me. At the time, Hunter was 14, and we had to stay home while my parents went to a bar with their friends and my older brothers, since they were much older than us.
Cheaper by the dozen, head ass.
Our house was in the middle of the woods, and our closest neighbor was maybe half a mile away. My brother and I stayed up watching TV shows until 2 in the morning.
I feel you. I'd be doing that thing too.
We finished watching an episode of Full House when we heard a very big crash upstairs in my brother Josh's room. We stared at each other for a moment. Then my brother got up and grabbed one of the kitchen knives and told me to come upstairs with him, just in case there was something in the house and he didn't want me to be left alone. My brother is a brave guy and doesn't get scared easily, so right now he wasn't very consumed of fear like I was. I followed my brother up the stairs, and he then came to a halt, which made me bump into him. He stood there for a second, in silence,
that boy's shivering.
just standing there. I got antsy and asked him what was wrong.
He saw
something. He then said, "Go get the house phone and call 911. Me being confused, I looked to see what was in front of only him to make him ask me this. And there stood a white man, about 6'3", with dark brown hair and bloodshot eyes. I told Hunter that he needs to come with me because I had no idea what this man would do to him. I grabbed Hunter's hand, ran downstairs, and grabbed the house phone.
Wait, where are the other ones?
We dashed into the bathroom and locked the door. I could hear the footsteps of the man slowly walking down the stairs. I could hear my brother on the phone with the police behind me. I was fixated on the footsteps, which got closer and closer to the bathroom door. It was silent, as I could no longer hear my brother on the phone or the footsteps. When all that made me wake from fixation was the loud pounding of the bathroom door, I screamed in fright. For the man was at the door now. He stopped for a moment, and and I could hear his deep,
He's
harsh
on something
breathing.
for sure.
He then whispers, "I'm not gonna hurt you. All
Cap.
I want to do is give you kids some sweets." My brother then yelled, "We don't want any of your damn sweets." I could tell my brother was getting angrier by the second. And then the door handle starts to shake very fast and frequently.
I told these
We
people
back
to
away
go
from the
get
door
a strap,
and by the
man,
window,
or at
which
least
was
keep
across
one
the
in the
room
safe.
from the door.
Because you get
My
people
brother
like these
opened
breaking
it
into your
just in
houses all the
case
time,
we would
man.
need to escape this way before the police got here. The man punches through the door and starts to grab for the handle.
Man, he punched right through it.
We jumped out of the window and landed on
a
our
Mario
grass,
jump.
and we sprinted. To the woods. We found this big bush to hide behind. We crouched down and waited for something to happen. Few seconds later, we heard police sirens in the distance. We saw the man from the window run down the stairs and out of the front door. He ran into the woods and ran past us. Thank God he didn't notice us there. The police pulled into our driveway and we saw a chance to run to them. We dashed to them and told the police he was in the woods. They searched for him, and once they came out, they had him in their clutches.
Good.
I've never been more relieved in my life. We stayed at the house with a police officer until my parents and older brothers arrived home. 2 days later, the police had found our neighbors murdered, and that the man was on a killing spree, and we were about to be next. I am now 13 and still have nightmares of that time. Hunter moved out and my parents moved to the city so we wouldn't live so far out.
Alright guys, we're gonna stop it right there, man. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's episode of these creepy animation stories. This was part 6. I guess we got one more part to go, so don't miss out on that one too. I'm gonna drop it real soon. Like I said, I told you guys, I'm a man of my word. I got you. When I got you, I got you, man. I got you, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next, man. Let me know what kind of other creepy stuff you want to see. I think I may do another dark web video. I don't know. I didn't like the one before because I actually wanted to see like raw footage of like the red rooms and everything. But I'll just try to keep finding more and more. I'll stumble upon a few. I got you guys. But yeah, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, one more time, like and subscribe if you didn't, man. And I'm out.